Alright, so here is Tyth. I'm just going to kind of point out what I look for. So off rip, I mean, I usually just throw damage abilities. Here you'll want to heal a little bit if you don't have people carving and stunning these. My healer, Walnut or Oak, is pretty solid, and DPS are good not to take too much damage, so I'm not too worried. I did pop a raid buff though. I have Volt Rush healing, just kind of screwing around with it. Haven't really mastered that yet, so a little different. One thing to know, as a healer, usually you'll just get passive aggro with these lances. You don't need to do this, it's a tank job, but if you do it correctly and you aim the lances at the Justice, like what happened there, it does just help them out a little bit. But this fight's pretty straightforward. I also like to try dot all the lances just in general, because then you can just have them aiming away from the group. It's just nice, just makes it so everyone has a little bit safer pathing. For Tyth, it's pretty straightforward. You can easily just heal bot it the entire time, or you can screw out the lances, do DPS. I mean, it's very, I'd say, laid back for healing. You only really have to worry about whoever's holding the boss itself getting deleted. Otherwise, I mean, the tank that's out shouldn't be taking much damage at all. One thing to note though, there is the stacks. Right now you can see less uptime, 5 stacks. Usually you want to cleanse that around 6, especially if you're learning it. So yeah, you see there, if you have a Sin tank, they'll just cleanse it with their Shroud. You usually don't have to cleanse too many once you get really comfortable. I almost never cleanse anymore, but when you're learning, absolutely cleanse when you can. That's interesting. It looked like he clutched that. Yeah, he must have died before getting that leap back, which is very unfortunate. And you can also help out with Grace. I mean, you got grenades and you got stuns. I mean, every class has a grenade that you can bring, but Sork and Merc also have Conk and Electrocute if you need to stun them. Or, of course, you could just interrupt the Graces. But obviously, don't do that unless you know what you're doing. And if the DPS actually call out for needing help, which they never should, but you never know. When I was learning this, I didn't run Volt Rush just because of the inversions. So I'd take Phase Walk just to be a little bit safer, because then if you kind of screw up on positioning outwards, you can get pulled off the ledge or into something that might kill you. So it's nice to just have Phase Walk set in the middle that you just activate after the inversion goes out. We're at 22. Yeah, I God bubbled there just to. That's one thing as well. You can God bubble to get rid of your stacks. If you had to like use Consuming Darkness a bunch just to get power back, which I did a lot here because, I mean, like I said, I was screwing around with lower shields. And there's the Grace we have to look out for and burn. I get the stun on it, and that's probably all I need to do. I was prepping to. Oh yeah, I did Electrocute. Yeah, you can grenade, Electrocute, interrupt. You got so many options. But that's Tyth. Let me skip ahead to Sisters. We're at Sisters. Doesn't really matter which one you're on. I'm on the west one, or exit side. To start out with Codex, you just DPS these down. You don't need to heal at all. Until the Nexus comes up and starts doing his laser attack. So, and I think we had our Merc Healer get initial aggro, so they could reflect. But obviously, of course, you'll have a Jug tank or a Jug just usually do it. So this is just fairly simple. Usually I focus target the Nexus. I don't know why I didn't do it yet. But the entire fight is essentially just a heal parse. So pretty much the same as Tyth until you get comfortable, and then it's just a DPS heal balance. Cookie, and we pushed. Make sure you're the same color. And if you got the white, you just pop, as a healer, as Sork, you just pop Cloud Mind. If you get the white beam. Try to heal across as well. A lot of people just kind of forget about that. Or DPS, either one of the sisters. I like to throw Affliction on both. Possibly can. I'm getting guard shredded here, so I don't have to worry about helping DCD. But I did send Cloud Mine just in case. If Cloud Mine's not up, you can always just God Bubble if you absolutely need to, or even just Shield Adrenal if you're really high and be fine. Make sure, big thing, make sure you don't have a color selected. So I see there I clicked it off because you want to make sure you have no colors, so then this I can't think of what it's called, but this beam will aggro onto you because it is based on whoever has the opposite color of it that's closest. So it comes up, and what color is it going to be? So it's blue, so you'd want to have orange to get aggro of it, and then you switch to blue. Now all you're doing is just going to have to dance, because when that glare switches to orange, then you're going to be the closest blue. It'll get aggro on you, and then you just swap to orange. Pretty straightforward. Other than that, just make sure you're obviously keeping people topped off. Throw your affliction, through your shock, lightning, your crushing darkness, whatever you can, just to help stuff push quicker. And yeah, try to always aim the beams on one side, that way you don't have to worry about, or DPS don't have to worry about getting beamed. So Asni should be getting close to pushing here. We're at 72, it looks like. Yeah, so, yep, there it is. We pushed. Now they pushed the other side. Now just make sure you're the correct radiance. If you're on Esni, you're going to be orange. If you're on Avela, you're going to be blue. So I'll swap to orange here in a second after I get this last cast off. Or maybe I just forget about it a little bit. Yeah, I did forget about it. I'm at 2 stacks already. Probably get to 3. Yeah, I got to 3 stacks, but just don't get too many of these or you'll take a lot of damage from the radiance pulses. Now the DPS that you have soaking, they're standing between the sisters and the Nexus. They will be taking a lot of damage, so you want to watch these stacks. And also, hang on, let me clarify something as well. So you're going to have to swap colors. So if you're on blue side, you're going to have to swap to orange. If you're on orange side, you're going to have to swap to blue to get aggro of your beams back here again. What you want to look for is the stacks. You can kind of use this as an indicator. When they get to about 19, 20, that's when the beams will activate and go out. But there's also one thing to note is there's going to be bombs that go out. And the bombs will like to... They like to go on people that are opposite colors. So if you're orange, the blue one really likes to go on you. If you're blue, the orange one really likes to go on you. So what I try to do, because 18, 19, the bombs will go out before the beams, is try to delay as long as possible before changing your color, just to make sure you get, or try to get one of those bombs. Because then it's just one less thing that DPS have to worry about. It's like staying close to the boss. Tanks, they just don't have to worry about standing in that bomb at all. So, do I get it here? So tank ends up getting it, which is unfortunate, but it's just one of those things that makes their life a little bit easier. You go up to your beam, you swap colors to the beam that's on you, step back in, swap back. That's all you do. And then just back to heal botting. You don't have to worry about your health here. Just focus on healing the DPS and the tanks. You're not going to be taking any damage. Or you shouldn't be taking any damage. And we push. A lot of groups won't push this fast. We had very, very good DPS. When you first clear, usually you'll have to do another set until your DPS get a little bit more comfortable. Make sure you don't neglect the other side. Right here, I like to pop raid buff because that's when all the destacking is happening, where people are taking a lot of damage. So it's just always smart to pop your Sork raid buffs there, maybe even Adrenal to have crits on your heals. Make sure not to neglect this tank over here. A lot of people kind of forget about it and then just let them die. So just be mindful of that and try to make it so your AoEs cleave the group and whoever is doing the Nexus in the middle. So we got a Vela pretty low. Some DPS are starting to stop or swap. You don't have to swap. It's not required as a healer because you can just reach across the room. I like to just because I can cleave heal myself a little bit better then. Make sure if you are DPSing, we don't accidentally throw something on a Nexus when it's low, because then we'll push phase, and if tanks aren't low enough yet, it makes it kind of sketchy. This blue will get out. He took a lot of damage. Oof. Died to Radiance, that was unfortunate. I think he took a single tick. That's one thing I like to do, use your markers just to mark, hey, you're going to be reviving here. I think he dies again though, yeah. Yeah, just one. And that's really helps the DPS, because then if they're not sure if it's safe or not, they just can look. Makes it a little bit nicer. That way, if you're like stressing on healing and not really able to talk or just not really paying attention, you don't have to worry about telling them. Yeah, here, so just make sure you're blue at this point in time. These bombs will do a lot of damage unless your tank stealth out. If they stealth out, then the bombs will not go out. If you get, one actually got pretty stacked here. If you get to about like 40 stacks, I would say, and this point in the fight, don't bother healing. Just focus on DPSing the boss because these will reduce the amount of healing you're able to do. So yeah, Walnut's just getting cooked here right now, getting a bunch of stacks. So he's not doing any healing at that point in time. And that's Sisters. It's identical to hard mode, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember how the hard mode burn goes, but yeah, fairly easy fight, just heal intensive. Alright. Time for some Nahut. Big thing, make sure As Sork, you are expecting to whirl in. Make sure, no matter what healer you are, that you have accuracy gear on, because you will need it for coupling phase, and you'll need it if you want to like save some turrets, scoring them later in the fight. So, beginning here, unless I'm an operative, I just DPS like crazy right here because there's nothing really to do. As an operative, I'll usually do a couple aggressive GCs, and then I'll just start getting my probes up on everyone. So then I have about 4 going into this phase, just so I can kind of buff my healing a little bit. You can absolutely keep following the DPS and go under to do damage if you want. And then I'm going to reveal. You always want to watch this buff. And I'm healer 1 in this one. So if your teams are saying, hey, you're healer 1 or you're healer 2, this is a healer 1 point of view. So here, when you reveal, you'll want to call exit or entrance, because you'll see the snail before anyone else. So in this instance, we're going to the entrance side. So that tells, okay, tanks, you can stand right here. You can go this way. If we're going to exit, they can go that way, obviously. No matter where it is, whether the nail is here or it's here, whichever side you're on, you always count 2. So 1, 2 to the right, that's where you're going to want to be, because you'll be close to the tank over here, and you'll be close to the other tank over here later in the phase. If for whatever reason there is a mass dropped right in here, you can move here. I don't really like it because there's a pin that can spawn there. Usually, best option is just go over here, maybe come back. I don't know. You can play around with it unless you can try and pick there. You just gotta be careful of pins. But the room is mirrored across this center line, so you don't have to worry at all if you're standing right here and there's no pin. That pin's gonna be the same spot on the other side. So now make sure you're out far enough because there will be a pin that can spawn here. And if it does spawn there and you're not stepped out a little bit, you will die. I think you see it a little bit later this pool, but usually I pop raid buff about now. There it goes. Just to make sure everyone is gonna get the most use out of it and stay alive. So raid buff will keep them healthy, healthy, healthy. Their cultos start coming back, and then raid buff falls off. It's like the perfect time. Try to throw a dot on the boss before it goes down just to get that passive damage. Now what's happening here is tanks are going to aggro the extermination droids. They're going to stack them nicely for you. And then all you're going to do is take the shot. So make sure you're healthy, put on a bubble, pop cloud mine. You're going to take the shot, beam these droids. And once you see this line on you, you can pass to your co-healer. You don't have to wait until the shot goes out. Make sure, depending on what you have for tanks, you have enough roots to keep these from moving. So typically, it's right before the shot goes out. So you have a PT tank, they'll carb. Then if I was healer 1, I might use my overload, or maybe the tank uses an overload. I don't know. You can really screw around with who does what. It's pretty easy, but just make sure these don't move and just communicate with your tanks. If for whatever reason, because you see this stack, so if you take another stack of this, or if you get beamed while you have a stack of this, you just die instantly. If for whatever reason on Sork, say your co-healer died, you can take the first shot, like I said, where you pop Cloud Mine, just heal yourself, and then the second shot you can pop God Bubble, and that will allow you to stay alive. The rest of this phase, you're just going to be heal bonding, maybe doing a little bit of damage if people are healthy. So here we go. Make sure you've identified your far doubles DPS. In this case, it's rocks. So you want to get them fairly healthy right here. So they're 88, 89. They should be good for most of the fight, so long they do their job correctly on Double far. Always reveal before that pull-in pass, and I like to go across. There's almost always a battery right here. Sometimes if you're lucky, there's even a battery right there. That time there wasn't, so I just got one on the side. But I get that one, that way the DPS who are on the boss don't have to go as far to get their batteries for the candle. And it allows them to keep just kind of uptime a little bit better. Make sure you keep them healthy. Wave of reinforcements alive, you see that. Start looking around. Okay, where is the extermination droid going to spawn? Because we're going to need to CC that with our whirlwind. This is another reason I need to have accuracy, because if this misses, it's not a fun time. So I see the extermination droid is right here. I'm also looking at my far DPS. Far DPS is at 60% in this run here, so they're going to be fine for those to fight. If your doubles far DPS, who is right up here, is below 50%, usually you want to go in, kind of just give them a little bit of health, ideally, so they can do the rest of the fight without having to worry so much about their health. If they are above 50% and they do die, that's either on tanks for not holding exterms later in the fight, or them not doing their turrets correctly. So we look, we see exterm spawn 3 o'clock, we go CC it. Make sure you don't CC it anywhere in the middle, or scorches can spread, and that will wake up the extermination droid. Also, what I did is there, I would suggest focus targeting it, just so you can find it later in the fight way easier. So I did let the boss go dark there. My bad on that, but it's not the end of the world. Usually, if you let it go dark for a couple seconds, so long it's not about to use one of its swipes. And then I always, after I do that reveal, I always try to go ahead of the boss, get that battery, or usually on this pillar there will be a battery somewhere. Always try to grab it, but you want to be ahead so then you can pull people across the bridge if needed. And I don't know if you saw it, but I had the droid focus targeted, so I just reseated it the second it was waking up. If, so you saw you had all that time to get a battery if you forget, and then before the red circle comes out, so you have a lot of time to say you had to just total heal the boss, or total heal the boss tank. You have a lot of time before you actually need to get a battery, and if you absolutely need to get a battery after the circle comes up, you can easily just pop Cloud Mine. As long as you're quick, you can get in, get out, and only be at like 50% health. It's very, very forgiving now with the current gear. Here, obviously, try to DPS as much as possible as long as tanks are looking healthy. I usually don't DPS unless I see the boss tank at 90%, because I know they won't get one shot by a unmitigated slice. From this point, it's just talking to your group, seeing who has a battery, who can do a bounder, just communicating, not panicking, and tank making sure that they don't move the boss a little too far ahead, so then the lightning stays behind us. Boss is almost dead. Reveal. Again, as healer 1, you'll just basically always pass to your co-healer. And that is Nahut. Pretty simple boss. It's more just a panic check, I would say, than anything else. So long as you stop freaking out, it's fairly chill. No, this is kind of important. I'll just show this because it's fishbowl. A lot of people die here. I actually die here. And I mean, I don't believe I was out of the shield, but you can make your own. Ooh, your own inference on it. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm gonna let these guys clear it. So as a healer, your job, you want to go right in the little corner right here, because there's mines up in here that you want to be able to get. Also make sure you communicate. I like to focus target whatever droid I'm going to be CCing. The immolation droid over there is going to be your priority though. So I would go backwards to get to the right spot. Right here I got the first one because he was a little far back, but you didn't get the second one. As long as you're right on the edge like that, put it right about there, you should be able to get both of them. That other one, did I miss it or did I do it? Oh, I missed it. It's there, right there. And then now that'll go up. That way when the DPS just drop down, they don't have to worry about that. When these droids looking about dead, I probably could go, yep, there we go. You can just go and start clicking this. Because it's a very, very long task time, 10 seconds, so. And when you click, you're not immediately in combat, so utilize rocket boots just to get over really quick. Yeah, I got all the way over here. And you want to usually wait for that shot before passing. So my Kohil is getting the immolation, I'm getting the combat droid. There'll be bomb, 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 bomb. Kind of an idea. You can use Force Storm as the sword. I do that. So we got that CC'd and we got the immolation CC'd. So we're gonna kill this combat droid first. All the bombs have been triggered. We kill this combat, then we're gonna kill the other combat. Then you'll see me die, and I mean, I don't think I was out of the shield, but yeah, that happened. But this does let you know that, hey, this entire thing is solo hillable, so. But you can see I was very, very annoyed by that. And finally recognized, hey, maybe I should hide my chat. A little too late though. So you'll click that console, and then usually you'll just kill the immolation droid so it doesn't wake up, so you just don't have to worry about it. Get the bombs here. Should be one more on the end, yep. So there's 4, and then there's going to be 4. It's like 1 for single platform. Make sure you got that clear. Usually you can just grapple it. If you're going to knock back it like that, make sure you're knocking it into the middle of the fishbowl. If you knock it out by the waterfall, it will bug, and then you guys will have the stuck. So you will basically just die. So this guy's a madman. I think that was Jordy. He just went through all of it. Or no, it was Firebrand, so that was... That was Spin. I'm trying to remember who. You click that. If for whatever reason you need to go up these stairs that spawn with someone up here to res, just make sure you use your rocket boots. Is probably the most reliable. Otherwise you won't have enough speed to get up. Rocket boots or any type of speed boost. He's right here. It's bugged, but alright, so for this Scyva I do basically all the healer mechanics. You'll usually split amongst the healers, but I just want to be able to show every single mechanic so you guys know. But you're going to have one healer who's always aiming at the OPD droid. The other one's going to be watching boss health and kind of controlling stacks at that point. You will miss your first shots though, just because they have to move the droid into a position, which is right here, so that when you beam through them, it reflects and hits the generators. So just DPS your array module to get aggro of it. And once you kind of got solid aggro, just healing should be able to hold it. So from there, you'll just heal the group, maybe throw affliction or a dot on your array module ever so often. Make sure you watch these swarm droids. This one I can see is going straight for me. You'll want to interrupt it when it starts casting. So I interrupt it. Perfect. So I just aimed 2 shots, so now I'm going to step out. That one's coming in. So here, I'm watching. They just killed that one in the middle. I know they're going to need a new one, so I just knock it in. Make sure when you're going to knock it in, you are far enough out that you don't accidentally knock droids that are already in the middle out, because you can't screw up pulls that way. So here you want to miss, so the projected path, you get it down and then you step out, otherwise it will do a lot of damage to you. So here, most groups would wait. It's pretty high. OPD is pretty high at 90%. DPS were calling, hey, just double aim. So I decided to double aim because they were clearly comfortable with pushing the boss. So we double aim here, and boss is push. So 5%. Like I said, most people don't like to push there just because you have to wait a little bit. I was mistaken, so I actually didn't do all the mechanics. Walnut is doing the stacking phase, so there'll be beams that come out from these purge beam emitters on either side. So you got one right here, and you got one that's about over here. And what you're going to do is you want to obviously stand between them, and you'll get a device from the last person who killed that guy. They'll pass it to you, and you'll put a shield up. So right now he's got it up. And you need that shield up in order to get the stacks. So you see we just got 1 stack of blue. I can't remember which is what, but it increases alacrity and crit. And every single time you just alternate. So he was right here, shot got off, he went over here, shot just went off, now he goes back to the blue side. You just kind of keep it a balancing act because we don't want too much crit or too much alacrity. These are doubles. I always help with blue catalyst because the DPS are already over on red, so they just don't have to worry about it. So always throw offensive cooldowns into that catalyst on the blue side, just to help out the DPS a little bit. The first one especially because you don't have too many stacks yet, so their DPS isn't as high at that point in the fight. As you can see, there he's back on red side. So we're 3 and 3. Doubles go out. It's going to be one more stack of blue to make it 4 and 3, and then we're going to be destacking. So I'm just kind of positioning, and I step in. Wasn't meaning to get hit there because it does do damage, but it's whatever. Yeah, now you're destacking, so either side. And now you want to stand closer to the energy purge because the stacks are leaving it. They're not coming from the beam emitters anymore. And it's important to do this destacking process because if you have them up when Ignite comes out, you will just die. One thing as well, I mean, you can obviously AoE heal, but say they're out of range. You see the shot just came out on you, you can step out. You can do a little bit of healing, just make sure you're stepped back in before the next shot goes out, even if it's not on your side. Now you pass this clicky to the boss tank. Or usually it's the boss tank. Here you just want to throw damage on Scyva because these PTs are going to be relying on their Colto. Well, actually they weren't there, but they're just going to be doing damage to Scyva. You also want to keep in mind the red turret. We want to get that as close to 30% without pushing it as possible. That way the tank after Ignite can just go push it. So as you see, just a couple seconds ago there, I threw Affliction on it. I ended up doing a little bit more after I kind of stabilize and make sure our tank's safe. Tank's looking healthy, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to throw a little bit more into this railgun. Not too much, I probably just threw my dot, yeah. So this is enough that, you know, just makes it a little bit easier for the tank after, and you don't have to have your DPS fully commit off the boss to go DPS the turret. So Ignite is going, so I usually hold my Crushing Darkness until Ignite, and then obviously pop Recklessness, Polarity Shift. I usually do the Force Lightning, and then I do Shock for my 2 stacks of Recklessness, because Force Lightning only actually consumes 1 of your Recklessness stacks while making every single tick crit. So, very useful. So yeah, we have the tank solo pushing it right now. If the turret had been a little bit higher, they probably would have had to send a DPS. Because we put in those extra GCDs just to kind of help prep it for the tank, they were able to push it really easy. Now your tank, looks like we have, lost, so they'll be communicating who blue turret's on. They'll be trying to intercept it, but if they call out your name, just stand still. Obviously try to avoid people if it's on rocks. You want to get away from rocks, but as long as you stand still, you won't get knocked down. You shouldn't take any damage. Now here you want to watch the boss health. I focus targeted it just to make it a little easier while I'm healing. Once she gets to 30%, she's either going to finish the cast she's doing or she'll do one more cast and then it's immediately ignite. Since we hit 30% while she was doing upheaval, we know the next one's ignite. Or not ignite, extinction. Yeah, for whatever reason, the first one, as long as you stand 0-0, just kind of ignore it. Keep in mind where the slice is in the middle is going on that side, so we knew we could step out kind of towards the entrance and be completely fine. And yeah, at this point in time, just either heal or DPS. No one should really be taking that much damage except for the tank. Make sure, say if you're an operative and you're getting really greedy and want a DPS here, when this, I believe it's upheaval, or no, atomic goes out, or whatever it does this little pull up, make sure you're not in this inner circle of blue right here, or you will immediately die. So if you're greeting and trying to do some damage in melee range on operative, just make sure you kind of step out right here, but you are still on blue side. Either that, or just use your roll and roll over here, roll through the purple, because you will end up dying, as we see like 2 people here die, I think. Yeah, so 2 people instantly died, and that's because they were in the circle right there. So now the extinction's going out. I got that res off. I marked where I resed him. That way, he can just kind of see for himself instead of me having to keep track of exactly where I resed him. And he just knows, okay, right now I'm between 2 circles. I'm safe to take. So he should take it here in a second. Yeah, he takes it. Don't worry too much about healing people here. Everyone should be relying on their own cooldowns. That is a mistake on my part right there. You do want to make sure you're back inside the circle before the shield comes out. I step out. That was really dumb on my part. But yeah, you want to be inside, otherwise you just immediately die. I think tank shrouds could be fine. I can't remember exactly how they live. But regardless, boss is dead. If for whatever reason, like say your boss doesn't have anything left, whoever, or your tank boss tank, whatever, doesn't have any DCDs left. If you're on Merc, you can go stand in front of them for destroy, pop reflect. Sork, you can go in front, you can pop God Bubble, and then operative, you can go in front and just pop evasion. And it'll just mitigate all the damage. I'm not going to focus on this trash. Pretty easy, just heal bot through all of it. Usually you'll have a tank moving the emitters. Normally you have a PT. I don't know if we had a PT in this group. Usually you want to stack really close to the boss so you get bounders. Just helps with the initial push. Again, I don't think we had any PTs other than tank. And we'll see here. I can't remember if we did or not. And so yeah, it doesn't look like we have any bounders. If we do have bounders, usually everyone stacks up about right there. So I just go straight into my rotation on the boss. I'm not going to be the one baiting the beams, so basically all of P1, I am not going to do a single ounce of healing. I am just going to be strictly doing damage. So yeah, because Walnut is baiting beams, he'll start healing now. Get everyone nice and healthy, just so he gets that initial heal aggro. So watch boss, once we get to 96, you know it's safe. 97, 97, we might have to go back. Oh, this is the one where we wiped. Whoops. So yeah, there we didn't go back in time because it didn't get to 96. So here, same spot. Or no, this is the beginning. Sorry. DPSing. Yeah, just try to always be DPSing. So if you're Merc or operative, you can just do your rapid shots if you don't have anything else on cooldown. Or off cooldown, rather. Here I pulled tank because he didn't have his... he didn't have something back, I can't remember what. Maybe it's just 4 speed or something. Here we felt pretty safe that we were going to push, so everyone just kind of stood out. Jor took a lot of damage there. So I do a little bit of healing here, just to get them kind of healthy. And then I just basically throw bubbles on people. Again, I don't want to heal too much because I need Walnut to get aggro of these beams. So there'll be an emitter. It's it's south of my screen, but basically you go to the opposite side of the emitter to the other anchor drone. Save your cloud mine if you can for when this goes off. If you can't, and say you have a bunch of beams on you, you can use it a little bit early, just to make sure you don't have aggro on it when you're not the one designated doing it. Here, just throw a couple AOAs on the DPS. They should be carving and dealing with ads. It's going to be the tanks that will take most of the damage, so you got to be very careful that they don't just get deleted. So I did a little bit of healing. I'm pretty sure I stopped here because he wanted me to. Yeah, I stopped healing because he needed to get aggro. I just throw bubbles on people. Oh, make sure, this is one thing I forgot to say as well, make sure you're getting the first interrupt on the energy drone. The tank will get it after that because it's usually free from the tether. But that is your responsibility to get the first interrupt. Now we're going to cloud mines. Keep in mind whoever got induction because they will take quite a bit of damage. And also keep in mind if your tanks die, the energy drones will usually aggro to people who are healing. So it could be you were a co-healer, they're at aggro to my co-healer. Just make sure you're not, yeah, you're not beaming. So there actually, it did beam and 5-stack it. So our tanks had to fix it. Very, very messy. I don't have aggro, so I'm not worried about it too much. I'm just trying to keep people up. Can't remember if we kept going here or not. No, we definitely did not. But yeah, so as you see, it aggroed onto my co-healer. He didn't recognize it in time, and he actually beamed the amplifier, messing up the tank. So just be mindful of your positioning because you don't want to accidentally 5-stack the amp because it does explode, and it makes it very, very hard to get out of that phase, or it just leads to a wipe. Most commonly a wipe, though. We'll just get back up to that point in the fight. I think this is just our first break. Yeah, so just be very mindful. Do I have aggro? I had aggro on the one that was being charged, so I wasn't too worried there. I don't know what's going on here because they've had it beam the Izax watch, so that was kind of odd. Not entirely certain what happened there. On cooldown, might just be. Oh no, we did have res. I stopped healing because co-healer wanted to make sure he gets to the bunch. Doesn't really matter if you get your stacks here at this point in time because, I mean, they fall off really before you need anything else. Interrupts. Yeah, you always stand opposite. There'll be a beam that goes right here, and a beam that goes right here. You kind of just want to stand between them. And here you're mainly going to be focusing tanks or the person with induction, as they can also die. DPS are healthy enough, they're on 50, I'm not going to worry about them, and I'm just going to focus solely on these tanks, because they are taking head cannon, which is very not good for their health bar. Now sometimes you'll get a third phase of this. Ideally you only have 2 phases. We thankfully only had 2. Now it's a race to get everyone to full health. If everyone is not full health here, people who aren't will die from this god damage. So everyone's full health. Communicate which tank is going to be standing in the middle. One thing you're going to want to watch, there's going to be a button either on this right tower or this left tower. So Walnut's going to this left tower. You will need to click that, otherwise you will wipe the group. So just make sure you're keeping an eye out for that. So it looks like tank got the right side. But you always split with whichever tank isn't holding these tethers at the very beginning. Will go to one of the consoles, and then a healer will go to the other. And then you just click it if it's light up. Make sure you get tethers either on the phase before or this phase, because you will need them to tether to the conduit or conductor droid. Rather, make sure you don't leap too soon. That way you can avoid induction. Got induction now. Be the only guy taking damage. I always focus target the conductor, makes it easy, and then you just wait till that little icon's above your head, and you tether it. From here, you want to watch Izax, so they're doing their interrupts. 1, 2, 3. That's usually how you want to time it. If they can get 3 or 4 interrupts off, that's perfect. And then ideally you finish your cast on the button, and Izax is forced to go down. Here you gotta be careful. Usually your tank who's holding is gonna hold all 4. He will take a lot of damage, so you will have to pump him. So tank's healthy, the other tank picked it up. Make sure obviously the guy who has induction doesn't die, and make sure you focus target whichever conductor droid's being pulled to your side. So focus targeted it, got the little icon above my head, use my tether, it's tethered. Now you gotta go pick up another one. I walked through it, so it didn't work, but whatever. You kinda gotta stop, unfortunately. Here's where you'd also want to use phase walk. I didn't, but it's nice to have. And usually you just click immediately. Sometimes if you have absolute juicing DPS, they will break and ask you to hold, but 9 times out of 10 you'll just click immediately there. There'll be one more of these phases, or there should only be one more. No, I think it is just this, or you wipe. I can't remember what happens after, because I haven't seen a fail on this in so long. Here your tank shouldn't take as much as he did the first time, because his DCDs will be back. Watch whoever's induction. You want to wait for this induction to go out, ideally before you push the boss, because everyone's going to get reflex. So reflex going out. Try and stay in as long as you can, and then step out. As a merc, you can step in and reflect it. As an operative, you could probably stand like right here if you're running blow for blow. And yeah, I think you can take a maximum of 3 hits. It's either 2 or 3 hits. I'll do 2 just to be conservative if you are doing blow for blow. It just helps. Augment droid, you just want to pull it forward. Not too much, obviously, so DPS aren't having to stand in the electrified, but also far enough back that when this augment droid is getting beamed, you won't be taking AoE damage from it. And here you'll just be damaging the boss until the ads come out, maybe healing the tank who's taking head cannon. Be very mindful, these hole cutters will aggro to you and they will do lots of damage. So my co-hero is on each shield right here. We're both just kind of tunnel healing him. He's getting those stacks, he'll stay up. You have to be very careful on your cooldowns, very careful about whoever has induction, keeping them up as well. Make sure you're running bubble stun. That's what I checked earlier when I opened it up as a SWTOR. That way, whenever your bubble goes down, it will stun these droids around you. Because that is the only way, basically, to keep yourself alive is by stunning them. And you also have grenade you can play with. make sure your tank isn't going to beam the augment droid when you're moving. So that's why I stopped right there. He wanted to hit it. So just kind of communicate with the tank who's not holding the boss at that point in time. One thing as well, Sork, if you pop a raid buff here, expect to be having all the hole cutters on you, because they do hurt a lot. So you want to either save God Bubble or Cloud Mind if you choose to use your raid buff, or you will almost guaranteed to die. Again, DPS if you can here, but there's going to be a lot of healing required in this phase. Definitely, I'd say the sketchiest part in this entire fight is this phase. For a healer anyways. Here everyone gathers in the middle. You're going to look to the north side. I'm looking the wrong way. Or sorry, east side. You just want to look for those missiles so we know it's right middle. If you see any stragglers, I kind of pulled them late, but he'd already got leaps. But just save your force pull for any friendly units that are out there. And it always goes clockwise, so it's always to the right. Wherever you saw it next. We saw it was the front right that was safe, so we go there. And there'll be one more, and it's back middle. Now Scyva is going to spawn. So boss always spawns facing true east and at the beginning of this phase. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull this to the southwest. You're going to pull it. Basically, if you're looking at the boss, you're going to pull it behind you to your right a little bit. You're going to do one tug, just so your DPS have time to kill a tether up here. And then once that tether's done, you're going to start pulling it to the front. You pull it towards the back right because this tank is going to taunt the tether that's back here to make sure that it cannot tether to Scyva. If you leave her in the middle, she can get tethered by the drones on the other side, and then it can lead to basically just her taking a lot of damage, stacks, and more than likely you won't be able to keep her alive, which leads to a wipe. So again, I pull her once, maybe twice. Tether died, now I start pulling her to the front here. Just make sure she's out of those missiles in a safe spot. And then you just leave her. You shouldn't ever have to worry about her for the rest of the fight, but just make sure you have her focus targeted, maybe put shells, bubble, probes, whatever on her, because she will take some damage, and that just kind of helps her stay alive. Here, I think on this pull, our tank dies to something. Oh, he got head cannon, that's right. So it gets a little chaotic, and we have some DPS save the day, which was really awesome by them. But yeah, just mainly focus Scyva. If you can, focus the group. You know, their tank dies, so she's about to take a lot of damage. I'm focused on the res. I probably should have pulled her, but Dirty Clickplate is getting her out of the mines. Absolute legend. Just saved the entire pull right there. So that was amazing. Again, no, you have to keep in mind, okay, Scyva, she's got 4 stacks, and she's not looking amazing. She's not looking bad, though, yet, either. So just kind of throw in a couple heals. Make sure she stays fine. And then focus healing the rest of the group. Oh man, this got a lot more sketchy than I remember. Just kind of shows you how forgiving. So yeah, Skyva's at 34. We are about to push though. When we push, you're gonna go to the back here. Wait till you see this little X above your. So that X, that means you're in a safe spot. If you don't see that X, you will die. I threw a grenade because these hole cutters will keep attacking you even after, like in this phase where it's white screen, they will keep attacking you and you can't do anything about it. So always throw out a stun or something. Otherwise you could die right then and there. Which would be very unfortunate. Now make sure when you target the boss, you only click once. I clicked. Yes, there's that delay, but I'm not going to click again. If you click again, you'll get launched off the edge. So always only click once. From here, it's just a DPS race. Before he gets too many stacks here, he's at 80, or he's at 40, I think. Yeah, 47. So basically, when he gets to 100 stacks, you lose. So you just gotta kill him before he gets that high. I think we got this one actually pretty close. 80 stacks, 90 stacks. Yeah, so he got to 94 stacks. It's a little tight, but no one should die at that point in fights. You can pop Cloud Miner in DCD. That'll keep you up. I would not do any healing at all, though. Just, you have to straight DPS. Otherwise, it can lead to a wipe. And hey, DI. Yeah, this entire instance it's not that forgiving, but it's mainly just like a panic check. If you don't panic, even if stuff goes wrong, usually you can fix it, so don't worry too much about it. Anyways.